Okay, with my last lab video, you have learned how to build your first site in respect of a multi-site networking lab. In this video, I will show you how the planning part is done and how this can be really done with inexpensive servers and using ESXi. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back. So, before I proceed any further with my Aruba mobility videos, I decided to kind of scale back down. My future goal is to add Silver Peak SD-WAN technology and kind of walk you through about the whole what is SD-WAN and how you build one and how you can do all of that from your home and try it in your lab, gain the knowledge. So to bring all of those SD-WAN and a multi-site infrastructure into an understanding, let's talk about the design first. Now, my next video should be with clustering mobility controllers. But before I go any further, this video is going to help you to understand the whole design and then we will deploy it. Now, this could be self-explanatory. We have a site here, we have another site, Nashville, and we have Chicago. So 3 sites there in the same region. We have these triangulars here. They are your Silver Peak SD-WAN, and the different black and the blue, they are your different type of circuits. One would be AT&T, another one would be Lumen. That's fine. They're connecting all these sites together. Each site has that failover dual link, and these are your tunnels. These are your IPsec tunnels that transport traffic between your sites. Now, realize these are the subnets here for each site. I'll kind of try to make them separate so you understand. Looking at it, it helps, and also route summarization and all of that come into handy. At this point, you realize you're designing the wireless infrastructure, and you're going to need high available mobility conductors, and you would need managed devices to handle the load. So where would you put them? So in my opinion, based on your headquarter, wherever your data center is, wherever your majority of your gear, where you put a lot of money to maintain all of that, that's where you would put your MMs. Now, could be all in one site, or they could be layer 3 redundant. You put one mobility conductor in Nashville, and you put another one in Atlanta. Okay, they would be your mobility conductors, and they're layer 3. And then each site you may have a managed device cluster. And that is fine. Now, what it would do, that they would use the on-site mobility, they would use they will create the connectivity to the mobility conductors. And then you have APs all over. You have APs here at Chicago, and you have APs here in Nashville, providing all of that connectivity, right? So this is what I'm trying to do. I do have this SD-WAN infrastructure ready. I'm just going to deploy my mobility conductors. I'm going to deploy my virtual mobility appliance, the managed devices, and I will, from scratch, building this to adjust within this multi-site infrastructure. So before I would bore you to death with my lecture, let's get going. Now here is a quick look at my ESXi. This is my old ESXi box, mainly holding all my Edge Connect Silver Peak appliances and my domain controller. It also holds all the CSR 1000 that representing my on-site router, a LAN-site router, and WAN simulating ISP routers. All of them are in here, and you can see, if you have watched my previous lab video, you see my Denver router, and Denver DC4 is also here. Now, I don't have a site for Denver, so they're just idle right now. Also, I have my second server that I have installed my Aruba mobility. These mobility controllers I have used before for my lab during my training, but I have factory reset all of them. Here you can see Atlanta VMC01 located here, but I do have the second Atlanta VMC2 is right here. So they're in 2 different ESXi box, but the underlying networking all are same. So they will work together, and you can reach them. They don't have any 10. So they don't have any 192.168.15 subnet configure. All they have is just a 10 subnet. So they're like within the ESXi infrastructure, and in order to access them I use the RDP session. So I will proceed configuring. You don't have to watch that. This part where I create the high available mobility conductors, high available, then we create the mobility managed devices, and configuring all of that. I have previous videos for that. I will link them in the description. Here's the link to that on the top right. And what do? You watch those, you learn how to create them, and then you come back here moving forward. So this part is done. I have my mobility conductors in a high available settings. I have my Nashville group of managed devices ready. I also have my Atlanta managed device ready. So all these devices, they're all virtual on my ESXi, and these APs are the only product that I do have physically connected to my Cisco switches. So what happens that at the end of the day, we would want to see that in my lab, this particular server can ping Atlanta sites devices, right? And I would like to show you that the traffic goes through this router, goes through this SD-WAN device, and there's ways to validate all of that, and then it can reach other site, and all of this traffic is orchestrated within my ESXi. So let me show you that. First of all, this is my server. So if I do ipconfig, I can see that I have a NIC with 10.1.1 subnet and another one 15.55. So that's how I'm actually RDPing. 15.55 is the one I'm RDPing to, but now if I were to ping anything in the 10 subnet, it's going to use the first NIC with 10.1.1.15, sourcing it from that. So let's take a look. Can I ping my mobility conductor? I can. How about the second one? Sure, I can do that. Okay, so this is still a layer 2. What about pinging something in Atlanta, this particular device right here? Why not, right? Let's take a look at it. Can I ping that one? 2.1. Yes, I can ping that one. Well, how is the traffic going? Let's do a trace route. 10.1.2.1. I should have done that. -D. Alright, you can see it's traveling to 111, which is my Edge Connect product at Nashville, which is the SD-WAN. It's pretty much, think about a edge router, right, for now. And then it's traveling all the way, suddenly it jumps over here, 2.11. Alright, and then it goes directly to 2.1. Alright, now I could be bluffing all of this, so let me log on to my router. Show IP interface BRI. You can see that this is the router with the VLAN 10. I'm doing router on a stick, and I do not have anything in the 2 subnet, pretty much, so it has to be routing. So let's take a look at the route. Show IP route 10.1.2.1, saying it's not on the table, meaning it is using the default route. What is my default route? My default route is 10.1.1.10. That is the default gateway, and it's a VRRP between these two SD-WAN product. Alright, so trace route should point the same way, right? 10.1.2.1. Seeing it's jumping onto 11, then it's jumping onto this particular 11, and it's traversing back to the 12, and then it is going to 2.1. Well, it could be various reason why it is jumping between 2.11 to 2.12. The traffic is load balanced, so it could be, some traffic making it to 2.11, some traffic making it to 2.12. But, or it could be 2.12 is the VRRP primary. So even though the initial traffic is reaching to 2.11, it is then moving to 2.12 for it to be sent back to router 1, Atlanta side. Needless to say, WAN side of it, it's using the same path. I can show you that, if you do not know much about Silver Peak SD-WAN, there's a technique that we always use to troubleshoot the flow of the data. Where is the data sourcing and where the path is taking. So if I do see traffic from 10.1.1.1 going, or 10.1.1.15, which is the server at Nashville, and it's making all the way to 10.2.1, which is the Atlanta router, and if it is going through this product, then we know that's fine, right? So let's take a look at it. I'm going to run a continuous ping, 10.1.2.1. Let's take a look. Okay, it's going, and we're gonna go over here and look for that flow, that ping traffic, how it is going to show up. As you can see, I have selected only the Nashville Edge Connect product, SD-WAN product, and I'm actually looking for 10.1.1.15, sending traffic to 10.1.2.1. Well, there's one. We can see it just 20 seconds. We just started that one, and it's an ICMP packet, and it is going through 2.2.1.1, meaning that particular flow of traffic is traversing from this within these devices. We can look in more details, and ECV1 Nash, which is 1.11, is the traffic flowing through right now, because that is the VRRP master. This is the VRRP for between these two Edge Connect product, and as you can see that 10.1.1.1 is the master, ECV Nash is the master. Alright, so flow of the traffic matches so far. It is going through ECV1 and Nashville, and then traffic's following destination. So that's proof that this particular traffic is flowing through this device. What is that device? Well, can I log into it? I should be able to log into it. 10.1.1, what is it, 11? Let's take a look. We should be able to see flows right away. Let's take a look, see if we can find 15 flows here. Alright, here we can see this particular flow. There you go. Just started a few minutes ago, and it's going through this particular product, which is my Edge Connect at the Nashville site. It sounds so weird that I'm talking about Nashville, Atlanta, but at the end of the day, that these are all within my ESXi box right here. My mobility controllers, all of them, just they're right here, and you can pretty much take a look at it, and you can see that all of them are added. They're all good. These are all in my ESXi server. I hope this proves that I'm not bluffing it, and this is possible. This is how I learned this SD-WAN product. This is how you should learn new technology. Okay, so one way we prove that the traffic is leaving my SD-WAN fabric, SD-WAN device at the Nashville site. What is the point that it's making it directly to SD-WAN on the other side, like Atlanta side, right? So here you can see the Nashville side is tracking this particular ping traffic, and we can see that it is using some inbound and outbound tunnel. What are those tunnels? This is ECV1 Atlanta, and outbound says ECV1 Atlanta. Okay, so it's using those two ECV Atlanta SD-WAN product. Let's go over there and take a look. Let's select them, and again search for the same ping traffic between 1.15 through 2.1, and we should be able to see that 2.1. We don't have the ping. No, we don't. So let's start the ping again. We should be able to see that. Okay, I do see that. It is over here, Atlanta, and we see that ping. We just started it 3 seconds, and we can see that it is also coming from ECV1 Nashville, using those two devices, right? So it is making it to here, and I have my router right here, Atlanta router 2.1, and the 2.1 is hosted right here. So we know these are all virtual machines simulating each site and their routers and all of that is simulated within my infrastructure, my ESXi infrastructure. So I hope from end to end I was able to show you the path and the devices that the traffic flows through, and to kind of have a way to practice everything. That doesn't matter new technology or the existing one. I haven't worked on the IGRP or BGP for a long time, so I use this lab to practice those things, right? So as promised at the beginning of the video, I hope that I was able to show you some of the design part, and also walked you through part of the deployment. Single site deployment video is on my previous lab video. Check that one out. And then incorporated multiple technologies like routing protocols, layer 2 redundancy protocol like VRRP, and then you have on top of it SD-WAN technology and wireless technology. Put them all together in your lab and practice everything like in the real world they actually happen. This way it will definitely increase your confidence about technologies that you are working with daily, and again, troubleshoot and sharpen your knowledge. Okay, I think this is the good time for me to put a stop for today's video. Now you realize you made it so far, so there should be some sort of reward. Learning should be one of them, but now you are one of those, just like me, just like what I was 2-3 years ago, right? You do not have a server, you do not have the gears, you do not have the access to certain VMs, licenses, right? Talk about Aruba. You want to learn Aruba technology, you do not have access to licenses or the VMs. You want to learn this technology, I can help you. Reach out to me, leave a comment on this, and I will try to help you. I have additional servers that I can literally load everything up and give you access to practice this for a certain amount of time. I hope you will, keep things private and learn the technology. I will be here to answer your questions. Now, I'm not going to put any hint about this anywhere because I really don't want to get this one out there. I just want to help. So reach out to me, leave a comment there, and so I can reach back out to you and talk about your plans of learning. I had a lot of help. A lot of my coworker helped me acquire this knowledge. So if I can help other, I would be very happy. So until next time, keep learning and stay cool.